that time, New York was kind of the gutter grindings of the 80s. There was drugs, there was murder, a whole bunch of things. And here I come, born, my life started, but also ending on that same day. See, I wasn't told a lot of things about my life growing up, but when I was actually told about it, it kind of put me to a new perspective of who I am and why I feel how I feel. So I'm going to welcome you out to the journey to the rat hole. See, my birth mother, she was a heroin addict. I was born addicted to heroin. As soon as I came out of the womb and entering this beautiful life, they put me in an incubator. I was a premature baby. I became a doctor's hand. And for me to look back on that now and realize that I'm standing here alive, that she made a choice to keep me knowing what could happen. And she kept me. Not only she kept me, she also kind of made a decision in her life to give me away. See, I was adopted at a very young age. Since a couple months old, I lived with my family. They were actually my cousins. And they took me in because what happened was that my mother, she left me in a hotel room with my brothers. She needed to go get that fixed. There was something about that drug that just, she needed it. So she didn't really care about her family. And I kind of think about it like, do I really know who she is? I never really met her. There's vague pictures in my mind that I remember of her and my birth father. My birth father, he was a prison type guy. Actually, this is the only thing I have of him. This is a picture he had somebody make in prison in 1984. That's me. Look at that smile. So to think about these things in my life and realize how I grew up. I grew up in Staten Island, New York. And Staten Island, if y'all don't know about it, our claim to fame is basically the Staten Island Dump, which you can see from outer space. Don't hand me a video. And really, people don't, when you go to New York, you go to Times Square, you go to all these beautiful places, you really don't travel into Staten Island. But if you're from Staten Island, you're from Staten Island. Mostly, I would say, firemen and policemen. That's what you grow up to do. Or onto drugs. Because also Staten Island has a very big idea on these drugs, prescription pills, all that stuff. See, growing up, I was never involved in anything like that. I might have smoked some weed, I might have drank some beer, but everything else was never available for us. We were young, we were 13 in the 90s. It was about music, it was about dancing, it was about how you felt, it was about your style, it was about being with your people. It wasn't about going somewhere and going to get medicine. Although we did, but it wasn't about that. See, as I've grown up, being involved in all these different ideas from friends that I met, that I grew up with that were into some bad stuff. But I always felt like there was something else out there, So I gravitated towards more hip hop atmosphere. Hip hop for me not only saved my life, but it changed my life. It is my life. I'm not just, how they say, you just don't do hip hop. You are hip hop. If you don't know what hip hop is, in a sense, it consists of four major elements of life. It's DJing, MCing, breakdancing, and graffiti. Now, each of those are an outlet, because when you meet people involved in the game, in hip hop, they do their thing. Either a rapper, but sometimes that rapper might dance, or you might see a graffiti artist, but he also, does a little turntablist here and there. It's all encompassed together. It's an outlet that we had that was born in New York in the 80s to get out of pop, to get out of the mentality of that lock, that all you had was the crap you see around. It was something that was made from the higher above, whoever that may be, so that you could have positivity in your life. They didn't know what they would do back then. It was just something they did. And they created such a beautiful thing that it helped everybody who was involved in it together. So with my life, and the things I've been through, I think that having the love that what I have for hip hop runs much more deeper than just what I do. I'm not just a break. I'm not just spitting lyrics as an MC, master of the ceremony. Okay? It runs. I have it tattooed on my back, which has branded into my skin and has really helped me together. When I was in junior high school, and actually before junior high school, when I was in elementary school, I was put down a lot. Like I said, I was a premature baby, so I grew like this, and I'm still kind of like this, but maybe I'll get to this someday, But I got picked on a lot. I had these big glasses that people call now, they want to say it's a style, the gazelles, but actually they were free, from Medicaid. So my mother used to give me these huge ones, and my hair was crazy. It's kind of locked down now, and it's still kind of crazy. But I had these crazy hairstyles, and I always wore these button-up shirts to go to school, and yeah, I was picked on. When I was younger, they called me Urkel. I grew up with all girls. My cousins, and they used to tease me a lot. I don't know if some of y'all old school, if you know those songs, Little Willie Won't Go Home. Trust me, that echoes in my mind all day. They said, tell me, let's go outside and play. And then they used to be upstairs watching me while I waited for them. And then when I had to come inside to eat, they would come out and play. And it was just something that happened. But that was the girls in my life growing up. We'll get to that as we get. Now, as being in school is like, it was good and bad because I never really wanted to go to school anyway. Go to school teaching. I don't want to go there. I don't want to do math, especially math. I do not like math. Yeah, I know my timetables. Hopefully, I have a couple of fingers and toes to count with. I love history. I love writing. I didn't know I wanted to be a writer or write things until I actually went to high school. And I went to a couple different high schools. I wasn't a bad kid. I just didn't like going to school. So I might have went to a couple places to sample. But I remember one writing class, and the teacher she had told me, so everybody for Christmas is going to write a page or a paragraph. I'm going to put it in a book. I'm going to give it to a children's house. It could be a children's book and stuff like that. I ended up writing like 9 pages. It's a elaborate story. It was a dragon and a little kid with a heart and sick. It was amazing to me, and I didn't realize at the time my imagination could pick up. I didn't really know how to write. I don't even write well now. Don't ask me to grammar anything or put periods or anything. I just reel it out. So being that, it kind of introduced me to the idea that I got. But what really got me into writing, and I have these books over here. Lasted through the years. And one of the biggest things with this book, this was my first book I started writing. And I used to have everybody writing quotes, people who I know, whatever they want to write. And when I actually started writing on it, my friend Nicole, one of my best friends who actually started me writing, I was like, what am I going to write? I'm going to sit here and I have no idea what I'm doing. She's like, just put the pen to the pad, whatever comes out. So it was a lot of, it wasn't structured. Should have thought, what am I going to write today? I keep looking at the page, there's nothing to write, but I'm writing this anyway. Whatever it may be. It wasn't until I came to Maine that I really realized to structure poetry, to put it together in a way not only to speak it, but to perform it. You feel what you say. Feel what your words are, meaning. So with that, we go into the first poem I basically ever wrote out there. And of course, it's hip-hop oriented, because that's my life. So this is called Hip-Hop Cypher. You see, it depends. Like old people's diapers in hip-hop ciphers, what I want to let my shit go. Nights get cold and days get long, but still, I search to be stronger. Push the weight off the world off my shoulder, because I know that I'm living in a city that doesn't sleep. With alleyways that have secrets but will never speak. Fourth pavements and metal giants overpowering the landscape of Mother Earth, and I find it hard to say that everything will be alright. I've made choices for my life that aren't right, so why don't the heavens want to hear my cry? Should I stand up and paint the skies with my dreams and goals? I just want to go back to the days of old before I sold my soul and this world got cold. See, I think that every child of man should be told that nothing will be easy. You have to work for whatever you want, and nobody will give you anything. You see, when spoken, these words are meant to sting, meant to motivate you to do incredible things, because even a caged bird needs to sing sometimes. And you see, sometimes I'm locked down to the city street. It speaks to me like Gregory Hines and Tap. I can feel the music that the city makes with its cop sirens and cars honking. But now, a major language is shocking. All these people who are trying to change our view of the city, trying to get rid of graffiti, you're wasting your time and your money. Just let the artists put up their work, you will see how beautiful the city could be. See what happened to bombing trains. When putting up your name meant the more fame you gain. Breakdancing in hallways, listening to Big Daddy Kane. So come, get some, you little bum. And when we were done, bob back to the crib and burn one. 1, 2, or 3. See, whatever it takes to stimulate my mind, to searching for that higher learning of life. Because if hip hop was a woman, ooh, I'd probably make her my wife. Treat her real good and respectable life. You see, that's another story altogether. We all have something that we treasure. Keep it close to your heart, because when things fall apart, it's only together we make it better. Okay? That was really the first poem I structured, and I thought it was kind of dope. And I had these ideas, and it kind of put down there. You know, it's something I felt. And as I started getting involved in more and more writing and spoken word poetry, I started realizing that poetry has a meaning, or words have a meaning. They stick them. It could be any word. Hateful words, grateful words, words that build you up, words that put you down, but they stick them. You know that old saying, sticks and stones may break your bones, bad words never hurt you? That's bull. Okay? Words hurt. Probably worse than broken bones. So when you speak it, when you understanding who you're about, who you are, every word that comes out of your mouth should be true to the saying. If you're lying, and that's not real. You got to be really true to who you are and how you are. So when I started doing this, I call it my political poetry, which is, I'm not really political. I see what's going on in television. Television kind of gets me crazy sometimes. I had a whole collection of VHS tapes. Well up to the wall. Everything I could ever imagine I used to watch on VHS tapes. I might be stuck in the 80s. Excuse me. I might have a pages still. I still got a tape deck in a boombox. Let's keep that going back. But I love movies, but I do catch the TV sometimes. Sometimes I sit down. This is what this time came out of it. This is called political poetry. You see, as I get ready to rock steady, I feel like my brain is heavy. From holding on to these burdens of past memories, you see it's perception that matters. While we try to mend our heart with people that are shattered. Now the reason why they call it the American dream is because we have to be asleep to believe it. I see the truth in the eyes of these politicians that lie. This war we're in, things just need to end. As women and men go overseas and die, their children cry, waiting for their mama and papa to come home. All alone living in this land of stress. When will I be able to put my mind to rest and not worry when and where Al Qaeda will strike next? I was there in 9/11. I seen them playing for things. Now, if there's a God or some kind of higher power, you somehow, how could something so beautiful get divided? As tears fall from my eyes, it's not surprising that this war we're in isn't about setting people free or even making money for our economy. It's about greed and the need to feed no matter what cost or how many lives we lost. So this war overseas needs to end. You're telling me that the government has money for mass destruction they can't fix poverty? They don't have the cure for HIV? This is the kind of things that bother me now. I don't want to start talking about females. And the things they didn't do for the people lost their homes, got raped and murdered in the super. What kind of a world do we live in where a 12-year-old girl get pregnant by a 17-year-old illiterate? He can't read no right. He doesn't know wrong from right. He just sit up on the floor and drugs all night. You see, for me, I need to find a way to show people how to be free. And like Martin, I want to bring them to that higher plateau. How we used to be when the MCs and DJs together would rock a show. But I don't want you to get lost in translation. Like a car without transmission, you won't go nowhere. I want to push myself to the limit and understand the chemicals that make up love and give it, but I'm tired of wasting my breath. Tired of wasting my breath. It's real life. It's how it goes. So yeah, speaking of real life, it's real. You can sell around for it. So my next poem, and we're just going to jump right into the heart, was actually a group piece that I put together with my man Gualo. We were up by the Port Veritas when it was in, it is Autos now, with North Star, a long time ago. You might remember it. And we put together this piece, and he's an amazing writer and speaker and a rapper. He gets down with an order. I don't know them, and you check them out. But the piece is so fresh and so hot that I have to like continue to go on. He does so many things. I was like, well, this is our piece. I'm gonna kind of form it so everybody can still listen to it. Hear it. So this is called Beginning Again. So I'm gonna need y'all help with this today. So when I say you gotta watch the beginning, y'all say to figure out that. You gotta watch the beginning.
Figure out the end.
You gotta watch the beginning. What? Figure out the end. You gotta watch the beginning. What?
Figure out the end.
You gotta watch the beginning. What?
Figure out the end.
As my mind relaxes into unfound freedom, started without bonds as a free right. Check 1, 2, our free minds. I'm not talking about the unconscious time. There's still too many people end up flatlining. As a youngster, I knew the meaning of life. Respect your mother, your father, no one for life. But as I get older, the world gets cold. We used to be breaking and beats, but now there's guns on the corner. Why not the past like the present? They say it's getting better, but it isn't. Now we're trying to throw out the immigrants. See, I watch the news and I lose my mind. As time rewinds and plays back the same storyline. Let me kidnap your ear. World War III, it's here. No love, no understanding. Just fear atomic bombs multiply year by year. Soldiers smoking hope sleep. Tear by tear, but still they look for that horizon to be cleared. 100 billion spent to figure out the war. And they say pay taxes, but really what for? So the government could buy people like the Berlin Wall said, no, I want to be heard. Gambling in the military, yo, ain't gonna serve. 3 missing soldiers, 1 body found. More desperately seems to be the sound. Gas prices go up, education goes down, price of living so high, good people jail bound. You gotta watch the beginning, what?
Figure out the end.
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 Estoy sentado aquí esperando Los Angeles. I'm sitting here waiting on angels, ears and eyes scanning for saving grace. Destiny escapes the block, but so few give chase as you can touch the sky with full promise. But you will never be a star. I try to get my focus, but lose my direction quickly. So let me speak up so y'all can hear me. My spoken words, broken verbs. I want to go back to where graffiti trains made the subways beautiful. How the cold crush and the furious fire made rap music come to life. I love break dancing on concrete. I want to be the best like Russell Park these athletes, but let me slow it down. I rock Shell Out to Cool. I'll bring it back like Pony Brewster. 2005, I used to watch it off the headrest of my man PP Cool, but I don't want to lose her. I just want to write poetry. I won't confuse her. So I close my eyes and think of the times when poets will rhyme to twist and turn like mazes and minds, but still, they found their way. So this is a little ditty I kind of put together. This show is also dedicated to my daughter Ashley. I didn't think I was going to have children, but I did. And it's amazing to have a child. And but you know, I was also married and got divorced, so I kind of had a little bitterness inside me. So let's keep going like this. This is for reality. Reality, I know it's such a tragedy. Only want you here with me. Oh baby, can't you see? I know that you were mad at me. You said you would never leave, but now it's like I'll never be. Oh no. Now I know you've been hurting, but you know for certain I will hold you. With promises in the past that just did not last seem to upset you, baby. But I'm here to tell you that my love is true. No matter what happens, my heart stays with you forever. My lady, you drive me so crazy. Hey yo, listen to the sounds that the melody plays. I just sit back, relax, blunt, hey. My lyrical assault got me up in the days. Reminisce about the times back in the days when there was no worries and it was okay to let your head down and not be afraid to be yourself. Cause you know one day that you will find the person that will love you always. But back to reality, I speak to you. This thing called love ain't nothing but a spook. She tells me that she loves me. She wants to give it all. She promised me forever, forever and more. But I come to realize that it wasn't really true. When heart was there, when it should have been too. But I'm not sitting here feeling bad or blue, thinking to myself how love is untrue. I'm just trying to find my way out of this maze. I'm trying to find myself where the happiness stays. So just sit back, relax, and live the message. Yeah, I got that out the way. Um, it's amazing in life as I grow, become a man. I'm 34 years old, and think about my past and growing up, and how easily I could have been in jail. I could have been dead. I couldn't even not be there. But I realized that these outlets that I had created something other than just being nothing. You know, it's something. It could be words, art, also paid too, and it's just another extension of what I need for myself. You know, and I think that it's a beautiful thing to really encompass yourself and look at it. When you look at yourself in the mirror, there came a time in my life I looked at myself in the mirror and I hated myself. I had discussions with myself that were incredibly crazy to the point where people would knock on the door and be like, "Who you talking to in there?" And I'm like, "Nobody, I'm good," and crying and going crazy and looking at yourself, reflecting yourself. Because every day you walk out of your house and you just see this, you don't see this. You might look in the mirror and glance at it. All day, you're looking at other people. And you're thinking about maybe their perception towards you. Well, how I'm looking at you. They don't know you. They don't know what you're about. They might, judge the book by its cover. They might look at you like, "Oh, I can't trust this guy. He got crazy eyes." "Oh, this guy over here you got that Celtics hat? I'm sorry, I'm a Knicks fan. I can't rock with you." Right? It doesn't matter. It's how you feel about yourself that really makes you grow. Everything else that everybody ever said to you in your life, yeah, it has impact. Yeah, somebody tells you every day you're worth nothing and you're worthless. You're gonna grow to nothing. What do you think that's gonna do? You're gonna feel that, right? But if you're strong in yourself, in your own, and it takes you a long time. It took me a very, very long time, and I'm still not there. I'm still very self-conscious about who I am and who I let into my life. Because letting people into your life, whether it's a relationship, whether it's friends, that takes a lot out of you. It's like I call them energy vampires. The ones that are like, "Oh, today just stinks." And you're like, "Oh my God, I just had a beautiful day. I might have won the lottery. I might have just got a steak with $5." And they're like, "That steak's old and that lottery ticket's fake," and you just crush it, right? They just bring you down, and I've been with that. I've understand people like that, and it's not their fault. You have to understand that too, how they might have perceived life, but it's not how you do. It's not how you want to feel it. So, I would say on anything in your life, take it for yourself. That's it. So, I'm gonna hit you off with phone, and then we'll get it going. Okay? And then we are gonna do a showcase on B-Boy Family. My brethren is here. We got Boogie Tunes in the house. We do the Asylum on Wednesday night. It's a really big thing. It's the birthplace, not the birthplace, I would say. It's the hub to keep hip hop alive in Maine. Where everybody comes together, MCs, writers. It's a wonderful thing, and you can make it out there. And so this last poem, like I say, I grew up with all girls, and as much as they tease me, I find a lot of strength in them. One of the biggest, one of, one of the women that really I find the most strength off of is my mother, who was my adopted mother. She chose to after I was born. Her name is Wanda Medina Bruno, and she's the only one I call mother. She used to tell me when I was a child, Papi, you weren't born from me, but you were born for me. And I look at that in my life, and I think that I think he chose to have me there. My other brothers might be wandering in the wind somewhere, I don't know. I might have wanted to find him when I was 14 years old, watching Ben Jones one day. And I asked my mother, one day I was like, hey, she asked me, she's like, you ever think about your brothers in the family you want to see them? And at the age of 14 years old, I always knew when I was young, there's something they never said. This one. And I said, yeah, I would like to. And nothing really came out of it. I know a couple of them were in jail and, doing their bids and how they were as people. I can't tell you that. I know that how I grew up and how I feel because of this woman choosing to keep me alive, to make me into the man that I am today. Have the opportunity to have these outlets to speak to you guys, have something to say. So, with that being said, this next poem is called Woman or a Girl. And like I said, I get a lot of strength from women. I understand that first of all, you see this? Y'all grow people in your time. Alright? Y'all grow that. With that power and the understanding of sensitivity, the understanding of emotion, us as men sometimes are breeded not to feel that. You can't cry. Why are you crying? Stop being a little girl. Right? No, that's your emotion. Your emotions are what makes you a man. When you can cry, when you can be like frustrated or understanding of how they're feeling, and not just think about your own self. So, women or girls kind of put into that. It's a shame that some women think that men are weak, when in fact you and I are the same. I want to be emotionally attached, but the more I want to get to know you, it seems like the more you push back. And every time I want to bring you into my world, there's always some kind of obstacle you have to overcome. Now, you might think that I'm dumb, but I know that women love bad boys. What's wrong with me? Don't you think I'm pretty? I'm the kind of man that doesn't mind calling up all you want, Sex in the City, open up doors for you, pull out chairs, but who cares, right? That's old fashioned. So what happened to the passion? Is that overrated? Have us men forgotten the beauty which God has created? See, we need to treat our women like queens, nothing less but the best. You see, Adam, he gave up his ribs so that Eve could live, planted his seed so she could have kids and start to do the race and still, still you throw in my face. How you thought your ex was the best, they put your feelings to the test, and made you question your love. So now I gotta pay for all the broken promises he made. You think that's fair to me? Can't you see how great we could be together forever? Now, I'm not trying to ask you for your sign, and this ain't no pickup line like some guys have said to you before because they thought you was a whore, so they tell you that they love you just so they can hit it wrong and the next morning sneak out the back door and never call you no more. See, that's not me, and that's not how I get down. I've been hurt before, so I know how it feels. And even though some of us men might pretend that our hearts are made out of steel, or for real, it's okay to cry. It'll make you less of a man when you think about it. But see, what I don't understand is how some dudes can treat their women so good. When it comes to bitch, hoes, and trick, they got the nerve to go home and kiss their mother with their lips. You need to reevaluate your thought process. Instead of wasting your time trying to have sex with every woman that walks, take your time out and listen to what she talks. See what she likes, so that one day she won't be your hoe. She'll be your wife. See, women out there, don't let no man, woman enjoy his life. Because abuse just isn't physical. It's mental. Since God had sent you to be our queen, there's nothing that we shouldn't do to try to keep you on our team. So what does this mean? This means that every man should look deep down inside of himself and find a woman in each. James Brown said it the best. This is a man's world, but I mean, you're not. Thank you guys.